Hey, I'm Thomas from WhatchJump.com. We're here covering PAX East, and we're right outside the Behemoth booth where they're showing off their new game, Battleblock Theater. I'm here with Ian Moreno, production coordinator, and also with Aaron Jungjohann, the lead level designer for the game. Thanks for speaking with us, guys. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
So this game's gotten a lot of excitement over the past couple of years, but for our readers who are uninitiated, could you just give them a brief overview of the game?
Yeah. It's a co-optional action puzzle platformer and a little story, maybe?
Ooh, yes. Story's your good old story of you and a bunch of your friends getting stuck on an abandoned island. Turns out to not be abandoned at all. It's actually run by a whole bunch of rabid cats that are running a theater, and they're forcing you and your friends to go on stage plays to amuse them. Deadly, deadly stage plays.
Sounds like a really interesting story. What inspired that type of story?
That's a bit of a tough one. I'm going to defer this to the mind of Dan Paladin, who's only here in spirit right now. But the game itself, the essence of it was inspired by a mini game we had called PDA Games, which was in our first game, Alien Hominid. The story itself has just evolved over the years, initially starting with the characters of various shapes, and then slowly introducing the cats as the main antagonist.
Yeah, in PDA games, it's from the perspective of somebody playing a PDA game, right? So there was the idea of there's somebody watching. So I think Dan loves drawing, cat. If you play Castle Crashers, cats are in there, here and there. And I think the idea is, what would happen if cats were in control of your destiny? What would they force you to do? They're so alien, it's hard to understand them, right? So, if they were going to do something to you and your friends and force you to do something, maybe they would do something crazy like make you do stage plays for them. So it just sort of rambled on like that, I think.
No, I think you guys got it. That's exactly what cats would do.
we have it in one.
Speaking of the evolution of the game, it's been in development for quite some time. It's been at every PAX East so far. Could you guys give maybe just a 90-second overview of what the game has been, what it's come to be to this point?
A 90-second overview. It's come a long way. Like you said, we've been showing it a long time, and that's mainly because when we have a prototype ready, we're excited to show it. So a lot of people aren't used to seeing games as early as we do, as we show a game. And it's a very organic process at the Behemoth because we're such a small company. We have the luxury of taking our time and iterating and going to the shows and getting feedback and watching people play them. And now we're just at the point where we are comfortable with where it's at, and we like where it's at, and we feel it's ready. And that's been the main thing. The game is going to be ready when it's ready, and that's what was mainly what was important to us. And now we're here, and it releases in a week and a half.
Anything to add?
Yeah, it's just, sometimes we have little moments that maybe wouldn't have happened if we were trying to fit a schedule. So, Dan comes up with a crazy idea of what if we have an enemy that's a piece of toast, and then you run into another enemy that's a piece of toast. He's gonna make a sandwich out of you. He just loves seeing like these weird little crazy moments happen, and that may not happen if we're like, well, we've only got another month and a half to get this done by. So thankfully, there's a lot of really awesome moments in Battleblock Theater that I think happened because the game developed organically like that. So
we got a chance to play some of the co-op, and it was great. One of the questions we had, is there any single-player option to the game? Is it purely co-op?
Yeah, I'll field that. Absolutely. If you play the game by yourself, you actually get a different set of levels, or at least a modified set of levels, than the ones you play if you're playing with your friends. So it actually zones in on just one person, and what's great is I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I love to do like a perfect run. My friends don't have patience with that, so if I go in by myself in the single-player mode, I'm going to play it again and again until I've got the best grade. I've picked up all the things I can pick up, and for first player, or single player I should say, if you're doing that, you don't have to worry about anybody else. You can just have fun, play it that way, or you can bring a buddy along, or you can bring 3 buddies along, and there's just a lot of different ways to play Battleblock Theater, and that's one of its main strengths, I think.
For those hardcore gamers and perfectionists, just how hard can you crank up the difficulty on Battleblock Theater?
Well, it's defaults to a normal mode, but there is an insane mode. And what an insane mode entails is a one-shot chance at any level. So you die, and you're done. Well, you're not done, not in real life, but for that run. So then you get to restart again from the beginning, or of that level, not the game, just to be clear.
Right, if you're sort of a retro masochist and you just got to have that style where, oh, I screwed up, I got to do the whole thing, I got to punish myself, there is that for you, and it is definitely more satisfying when you get through the level that way. And as it ramps up, you'll see how crazy an idea trying to get through it in one life can be, especially when there's 2 players in there, and if either of you die, you'll see a lot more cooperation when that sort of thing's going on. So, yeah, it's very intense.
So one thing John and I noticed when we played the game, it's kind of genre redefining almost. You've got the platforming elements, and then you've got some beat 'em up action in there as well. The co-op adds a nice twist. What exactly inspired the particular type of genre you chose to pursue this time around?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was when we saw these different pieces working together, we saw the potential for it to not only be, it sort of started out as maybe a little bit more of an action brawler kind of game or just a straight platformer, and then it started to get more of a puzzle feel to it, just because there was the potential for that. So, you add the different combat moves you can do, so it satisfies the beat 'em up fans that like Castle Crashers, and then you take the platforming, the puzzles, and all that. It kind of does all the things that I would love a platformer to do. All the great side-scrolling 2D games that I played when I was a kid. I wanted every little bit and piece that I could get to be put into Battleblock Theater, and I think it can support that. It's a robust enough game that it can handle that. And when people make their own levels, they'll be able to do their own stuff with the engine. So,
what kind of feedback did you get from the level creators specifically? Did they get really creative in the beta?
Yes, so much so that we actually created a video highlighting all the different levels that the community created during that short span of time.
Yeah, like an 80s montage, right, of our favorite beats from the user stuff. So that was only in like a week and a half. I can't wait to see what people do when they've got months and months, and there's thousands and thousands, hopefully, people playing the game. It should get really cool. I'm really excited to see what people are going to come up with. Because even my team was surprising me years into production with new ways for these things to be, for these different mechanisms to be working with one another. So,
sounds like a lot of fun. Now, we've talked a lot about the co-op. There's also an arena mode that I understand has several different subsets. Can you tell us about a few of your favorite arena modes and how they play out?
One of my favorites is what I call it's more of an existential mode, where it's called Soul Snatcher, and what you do is you want to kill or attack and jump on the head of an opponent, and then their soul pops out like a little balloon. Then you grab the soul, and then becomes a game of keep away, and then you accrue points the longer you keep it away.
I probably got to say ball. It's become sort of an office favorite, I think. What was great about it, it's like a soccer with basketball, except for you can run in, grab the goalie out of the net, and throw him into a wall of spikes, or maybe some grenades, whatever you want. One of the crazy things about it is, a year or so ago, it was on the chopping block as something that wasn't quite working, but we did a little tweak, changed the way the ball and the players were interacting, and all of a sudden, it became something that we just love to play, and the beta players seem to love it, and we're actually doing a tournament for it here at PAX. So it's just good. It's a good way to see how that freedom can allow the game to be everything it could be. So that's got to be probably my favorite.
So it's clear that the art style from Castle Crashers has carried over into this game. Is there anything else that fans of Castle Crashers can expect? Maybe an homage to the previous game?
Well, we're known to do that. We have a history of doing that. But we can neither confirm or deny the occurrence of that in Battleblock Theater.
I think I'm allowed to say this. I don't know. You're sort of the guy in charge of this. But, we do have a bunch of... We've shown all of the different prisoners that you can play as, except for there's this group down at the bottom of special prisoners that we haven't shown. Maybe some of them might be mixed in. We'll have to see. Those will get doled out with special events and special occasions and whatnot. Now, a theme that we have cared a lot about in the past is pooping animals and poop jokes in general. So, whether those reoccur, I think it's...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that was a must. Because we have a reputation that we have to uphold. Yeah, absolutely. So.
And when will Battleblock Theater officially be available for purchase?
It'll be available on XBLA April 3rd.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with us, guys. I'm Thomas with What'sJump.com.